For 2,000 years, her name has been whispered alongside tales of sin and scandal, a reputation that has almost completely erased the truth. But the real story of Mary Magdalene is not one of a fallen woman. It is the incredible saga of a soul set free, a mind healed from torment, and a heart so full of devotion that she stood firm at the foot of the cross when the strongest men had fled in terror. This is the truth about the woman who was not only a disciple, but the first witness to the greatest miracle in history. The story you think you know about Mary Magdalene is a tapestry woven from myth, art, and tradition. But the Bible itself paints a very different and far more powerful picture. We are about to unravel the threads of history to discover who she really was, the 7 demons that tormented her, and why she, above all others, was given the honor of being the very first person to see the risen Christ, and what he told her to do next. This is the story of one of the most important and misunderstood figures in history. If you're ready to uncover the truth and be inspired by her incredible journey, make sure you subscribe to our channel and activate the notifications, because you won't want to miss a single revelation. Our journey begins in the bustling region of Galilee during the time of Jesus' ministry. For centuries, a powerful myth has surrounded Mary Magdalene, painting her as a prostitute or a public sinner. But it is crucial to understand that this is a legend, born from a sermon preached hundreds of years after her death. The Bible, the only historical source we have, never once makes this claim. Instead, it introduces her as a woman from the prosperous fishing town of Magdala, a woman whose identity was not defined by sin, but by a terrible and profound suffering. The Gospels introduce us to her with a chilling detail. Mary, called Magdalene, from whom 7 demons had come out. In the ancient world, this was a terrifying diagnosis. It was not a metaphor for a sinful life. It was a description of a state of utter torment. To be possessed by 7 demons was to be a prisoner in your own body, your mind and soul held captive by a force of pure chaos and darkness. Her life was likely one of agony, isolation, and despair. She was a woman broken, a soul in bondage, living a life that was not her own, with no hope of escape. This was her reality before she met the man who would change everything. Scripture doesn't describe the exact moment of their meeting, but it tells us the result. Jesus healed her. He cast out the 7 demons, silencing the chaos in her mind and freeing her from her torment. It is impossible to overstate the power of this moment. For Mary, this was not just a healing. It was a complete restoration of her being. She was given back her life, her sanity, her very soul. This act of profound power and intimate compassion became the unshakable foundation of her devotion. The gratitude she felt was not fleeting. It was a life-altering force that would bind her to Jesus with a loyalty that would prove stronger than fear, and even stronger than death itself. From that moment on, Mary Magdalene's life was transformed. She was no longer a victim of darkness, but a devoted disciple of the light. She joined a group of women who traveled with Jesus and the 12 apostles. They were not just passive followers. The Bible tells us that these women, including Mary, Joanna, and Susanna, were helping to support them out of their own means. This was a radical act. In a society where women were often marginalized, Mary and her companions were active patrons of Jesus' ministry. They were funding the movement, providing for the needs of the disciples, and playing an essential role in the greatest story ever told. Mary Magdalene was not on the sidelines. She was a central and vital part of the inner circle. What do you think is a more powerful motivator for faith? Hearing a teaching or experiencing a personal miracle of healing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because Mary's experience is about to lead her to the most important moments of her life. As Jesus' ministry reached its climax in Jerusalem, Mary's loyalty was put to the ultimate test. When Jesus was arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane, when he was betrayed, denied, and abandoned by his closest male followers, Mary did not run. The Bible is clear. As Jesus hung on the cross, in the darkest hour of history, she was there. She stood at a distance with the other women, watching, bearing witness to the brutal and agonizing death of the man who had saved her. Her presence was an act of incredible courage, a final, defiant act of love and loyalty in a world consumed by fear and hatred. After Jesus' body was taken down from the cross and laid in a tomb, a profound and heavy despair fell over his followers. The Sabbath passed in a haze of grief. The dream was over. The hope of a new kingdom had died with its king. But Mary's devotion had not died. Early on Sunday morning, while it was still dark, she and the other women made their way to the tomb. They were not expecting a miracle. They were coming to perform a final act of love, to anoint his body with the spices they had prepared. They were coming to mourn. Their only concern was a practical one. Who will roll the stone away from the entrance of the tomb for us? When they arrived, they were met with a shocking sight. The massive stone had been rolled away. Mary, peering into the darkness, saw that the tomb was empty. Her first reaction was not joy, but sheer panic and grief. She believed the body had been stolen, the final desecration of her beloved master. Her last hope, to simply care for his body, was gone. She ran. She ran to find Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and cried out, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they have put him." Her sacrifice of hope was now complete. All seemed lost. The disciples came and saw the empty tomb. Then they went back to their homes, confused and amazed. But Mary stayed. She stood outside the tomb, weeping. Her loyalty was so profound that she could not bring herself to leave the last place she knew he had been. As she cried, she bent over to look into the tomb one more time, and she saw two angels in white, seated where Jesus' body had been. They asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "They have taken my Lord away," she said, "and I don't know where they have put him." Then she turned around and saw a man standing there, but she did not realize it was Jesus. He asked her the same question. Thinking he was the gardener, she pleaded with him to tell her where the body was. And then he spoke a single word. Her name, Mary. In that instant, her world was reborn. She recognized him. "Rabboni," she cried out. The victory was complete. She was the first person to see the risen Lord. In that moment in the garden, Mary Magdalene's journey came full circle. Jesus gave her the first and most important commission of the new age, said, "Do not hold on to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. Go instead to my brothers and tell them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." She, who had been silenced by demons, was now given the most powerful message in history. She, who had been a witness to his death, was now the first witness of his resurrection. She ran back to the disciples and made the declaration that would change the world. "I have seen the Lord." She became the apostle to the apostles, the first evangelist of the good news. The real story of Mary Magdalene is one of profound redemption, unwavering loyalty, and incredible courage. She was not the sinner of popular legend, but a woman healed from deep torment who dedicated her entire life to the one who saved her. She was a central disciple, a brave witness at the cross, and the very first apostle of the resurrection. Her journey from the depths of despair to being the first herald of hope is a powerful testament to the fact that our past does not define our future, and that a personal encounter with the divine can transform a life forever. What do you find most inspiring about the true story of Mary Magdalene? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you were moved by her incredible journey, please subscribe to our channel for more stories that uncover the truth about the Bible's most fascinating figures. Now, if you want to explore the story of another disciple whose life was marked by a moment of failure and redemption, you need to watch the video on your screen right now about the Apostle Peter.